Welcome back. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. You can also join the conversation on the WhatsApp line 0550585832 or use the hashtag Scorecard on Twitter and I'll read all your messages. Now time for me to introduce my guests. My two very good friends are here, Susu Graham and Emmanuel Nugo. Hi guys.
Hi. Good, I'm good.
It's been a good weekend.
Yes.
A very good weekend. I see you in Liverpool jersey.
They were prepping for the season.
Yeah. After last season, or was it last week's, or during the week, humbling by Manchester United, Liverpool finally got on the winning side.
It's just preseason.
Still 4-0.
It's just preseason.
How many goals did Allyson concede?
It's just preseason.
Oh, so was Allyson in post, right?
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
I promise you, I saw Salah, I saw Van Dijk, I saw Trent,
everybody
I saw Robertson,
everybody.
I saw everybody.
Everybody
They took 4.
played.
Don't worry, let's revisit this maybe in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
I like the confidence with which you are saying things. But we'll come to the football later. Let's start off with athletics. The World Athletics Championship began over the weekend. In fact, it was Friday in Oregon, USA. We'll start with the women's 10,000 meters. It was a very interesting race. It had the world record holder. It had the Olympic title holder. It had the Olympic silver medalist from 5,000, Olympic silver medalist from 10,000, all competing in one race. And at the end of the day, it was Letisenbet Gide of Ethiopia, the world record holder, who won that race. So Letisenbet Gide of Ethiopia, world record holder, becomes the world champion. A very interesting race there, but still with athletics, let's move on the action. Let's show you the 100-meter final for the men. It was the favorite ahead of the race was Fred Kelly of United States of America. In fact, in last year's Olympics, he was also the favorite. He was unable to win that race in the Olympics. He lost out to Marcel Jacobs of Italy. That this was his time. He was on form, the fastest man in the world this year, leading to the World Athletics Championships. And he did not let himself down. He did not let his country down. He won it by 9.86 seconds. So Fred Kelly is the 100-meter world champion. It's a very, very interesting journey for him. In fact, he was a 400-meter runner until last year. He only changed from 400 meters to 100 meters last year. Then he took part in the Olympics, and he was supposed to win per the form guide. He went to the Olympics. He lost out to Marcel Jacobs. He started this year very well, world lead. He came into this. In fact, he recorded the quickest heat. He was the quickest in the semi-finals, and he gets here. And we always talk about championship performance. You have to do it at the championships. It's not just the times that you do before the majors. When you get to the majors, you have to perform. And he got there in front of his home crowd, and he did not let them down. Yeah,
I think when you're a world star and there's a lot of expectations on your hand, you need that defining moment where at the crunch of it, at the apex of competitions, you put on that confidence and perform. Yeah. And that's what he did. And nothing beats winning in front of your home crowd. It's a clean sweep for the Americans too. And now he has put his claim down that, okay, when the world stage, when the lights are brightest and all those things and the pressure is on, he's able to perform. Yeah. You would want to see what he will do next. Can he do it on the Olympic stage now? Then you know that, okay, you've done it at the World Championships, you've done it at the Olympics. But then it's very nice to see. I mean, it's a clean sweep for the USA. The competition is being done at their home. The crowd is in there, and then they are cheering the athletes on. It's nice to see in the sense that when the home team have their competitors or they have their people performing well, it drives crowds into the stadium. So we know COVID and all those things where we miss the atmosphere, and then it brings them back in, and it kind of gears the other athletes onto, and then it creates a great aura for the competition. But kudos to the American team, clean sweep. It's sad that we didn't see any Ghanaians out there, but then what can we say?
Yeah, so I'll take your thoughts on the part of the Ghanaian team. We had 2 guys in Joseph Paul Alamwa and Benjamin Azamati going into the individuals. Both of them went out at the heats. First round of qualifying, and they dropped out there. Quite disappointing, especially if you look at the sort of times. If you are narrowing it down to Azamati, you look at the times that he's posed this season. It's quite disappointing he couldn't make it past the heats.
Yeah, it looks like he might have frozen a bit. You know, he was in like top 10 for times, I believe, going into the competition. So we thought that at least the heat shouldn't have been a problem, but it's just how it is. And honestly, we don't see Ghanaians do well that often, so I wouldn't even say it's a disappointment. to be fair, we don't see them even go to the World Championships as often anymore. Maybe in the 60s and 70s, we had some sprinters doing things, going to the Olympics. But nowadays, we don't see much of our sprinters. So it's good they're at least at the level that they can get to the World Championship. But we really need to push on. I mean, it's the same way, when we started trying to qualify for the World Cup, when eventually we were going to the round of 16 and that kind of stuff. We want to push for it. We want to impress. And we need a bit more investment and, because how much support are they really getting from the country and the government? So I think they are doing very well. They go to school in America. All their training is being done in America. What's going to happen when they are done with school? So we have to really think about these things. I'm not too upset because considering what we have given them and what they have produced, they've basically made gold dust out of dirt. So we just have to congratulate them for getting to the competition. It's disappointing. We're a proud nation. We want our people to do well. It didn't happen. That's unfortunate. But once there's no support, I can't really come and say that they should have done this, they should have done that, and hold them to a certain standard. Going there alone is enough. So, but just going back to Kelly and the Americans, I think it's very impressive, and I think Kelly has the same. Usain Bolt also started in the 400. Kelly also. So maybe there's something about training the 400 before you go into the sprints to give yourself some extra stamina and that kind of stuff. So maybe you should get our people to start the 400 before
it could be.
It could be the 100.
But I like your point on the Azamati issue, because look, it's something that we've always cried for. During the World Relays, we spoke about the support that some of these guys need. He's a student athlete. These are guys who he's competing against guys who are very experienced. You look at Kelly, he's been to World Championships, he's been to Olympic Games. These are very, very, very experienced guys at the top of the game who have all the financial, monetary supports that they have just to make sure that their craft is at its peak. So if we want to compete with them, then we also need to start putting in some more effort. And to be fair, this was just Azamati's second major. His first major was last year's Olympics. This was his second major. Sometimes it takes you time to be able to get used to that stage before you can start getting your best times and your best performances under your belt. So yes, it's a good start. And the good thing is also that it's not over. The relays are at the end of the week. Ghana is in the relays, the 4x100 relays, and we know the promise that this team has. So we just hope that in the Olympics they beat the United States and made it to the final. So anything can happen in the relays. Anything can happen, and we just keep our fingers crossed.
Someone can drop a baton, step on
exactly. Anything can happen. So we just hope
that grasping at luck.
No, but it does happen. And to be fair, look, it's the relays. It's anybody's game. Talking about the relays. Allyson Felix, global superstar legend, she was hoping to crown off her World Championship career on a high by winning the gold in the 4x4 mixed relays. But unfortunately for her, Dominican Republic had other ideas. They beat United States to gold. United States and Allyson Felix had to settle for bronze. America were inches away. Allyson Felix was inches away from closing out her World Championship career with gold, but Dominican Republic said no. An amazing run from the final leg. It was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant to watch. And as a commentator said, this is why we love sport. The story that everybody wants to happen didn't happen. But yes, it's still what it is. And but guys, she's had a remarkable career. 19 World Championship medals, of which 13 are gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to female athletics, she's a gold standard. And I think the first time I watched her was in 2004. And if you watch...
You are old.
I mean, if you watch her career, she's been running with the same poise, the same grace, and she attacks every competition. She goes in there to win, regardless of whether she's 36 or regardless of where she was starting out. It's the same consistency she's put out there. And if there are any young athletes watching out there, she's the gold standard. Yeah. If you want to last long in the competition, if you want to be the top of the crop and everything, she's someone you should look at. It's rather unfortunate she didn't end with a gold, but then, I mean, fantastic performance from the Dominican Republic. That final 100 meters, and it's just like when you're actually in the lead and someone is running faster than you, think they're actually pulling you back, and it's a bit, it's not the fairy tale ending she would have wanted, but kudos to the Dominican Republic. They really did well.
Some last athletics before we move on. We spoke about the men's 100 meters. Tonight, if you can stay up, the women's 100 meters is happening. In fact, the semi-final and the final will happen later tonight. But last night, they embarked on their heats. There were 7 heats in all. The 2 fastest times were recorded by Great Britain's Dina Asher Smith and Shirley Ann Fraser-Pryce. So we'll show you those 2 races. whatever happens, we just know it's going to be a crazy sprint tonight. It's going to be crazy. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she's gunning and wants another gold medal. In fact, she was beaten in the Olympics by Thompson Hera in both the 100 and the 200. She wants those titles back. She wants to reclaim her spot as the #1 in women's sprints. Guys, anticipation. Look, I can't wait. I will stay up and I'll watch it.
I mean, she's 34, 35, and she looks as fresh as a daisy. And I mean, I think I would have to stay up to watch that to watch that matchup, and it's actually nice to watch. Once you see any coloured wig or anything on the track,
just know it's her.
You know it's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and she's just like a bullet. I can't wait to watch that semi-final and the final.
She's also very flamboyant with her nails and stuff.
I think it's a Jamaican thing.
It's a Jamaican thing, but there are quite some names in that. In that lineup.
I'm looking at Thompson Hera. I think right now with Fraser-Pryce at her age, especially in the 200, you know, her stamina is a bit down. So you notice in the 200, it looks like she can't really go the whole 200. So I think maybe the 100, she still has that chance to win. But in the 200, I don't see it. But the 100, maybe she can do it.
But the thing is, it's a semi-final before the final. So let's hope that the top guns all make it to the final, because it's a star-studded pack. There's Kambunji, there's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, there's Thompson Hera, there are so many. Dina Asha-Smith, who looked very good in the heat. So if all of them get to the final, trust me, it's going to be a very, very, very interesting final later tonight. But moving on, let's do some football now. Before we take our first break, preseason action. We'll start off with some local spice, some Ghanaian spice. It was Ajax taking on Kasimpasa. Okay, Ajax are Dutch champions. Mohamed Kudus plays for Ajax. This was their first major preseason outing. They came out. Now, Kasimpasa's goalkeeper. Any prizes for guessing who it is? You know who?
I think it's
Abdul Manaf Nurudeen. Black Stars goalkeeper Abdul Manaf Nurudeen. So Nurudeen was having a very good game. He was just stopping everything. Berghaus will shoot, he will save. Bergwijn will shoot, he will save. Everything until Kudus came on, and Kudus grabbed the equalizer for Ajax. So it was a 1-1 draw. Let's have those highlights roll on our screen. It was a 1-1 draw between Kasimpasa and Ajax Amsterdam. So I think, yes, this is Berghaus. And fantastic save there from Abdul Manaf Nurudeen. But just how important is it to get our boys as fresh as possible and in tip-top form this season, especially being a World Cup year?
I think it's good to see that we have players competing in Europe, and not that they are competing in Cyprus and countries like that, but they are competing in competitive leagues. And I'm especially happy for Kudus.
Now this was Kudus, a fantastic shot, great save. Manaf tips it on to hit the bar. Kudus came on in the second half. He didn't start the game. Came off in the second half and got the equalizer.
I'm actually happy to see him looking fit.
I don't think the keeper got a touch on that unit.
Bullet.
I mean, he had no chance stopping it. I'm especially happy for him. It's good to see him back on the pitch, showing his talent and what he's for. And it's good news for Ghana, because it looks like we are gradually gathering a team that will be proud of and have confidence in to perform at the World Cup. And especially with the transition that Ajax is going through, I would want to see more of Kudus. I would want to see more of him taking a prime role in the team moving forward. But happy for him and happy for the goalkeeper too.
Susu, I was in an Ajax space this weekend, and look, they understand, and we all understand that Kudus is a fantastic talent. The injuries didn't help him too much in the first two seasons, but it looks like this is his time. It looks like new coach has come in, it's a fresh start. This is an opportunity for him to cement his place. The guy he's directly competing with looks like it's Berghaus. Berghaus cemented himself during Ten Hag's play. So it will take some effort to take him out of the team. But there's still a number of positions he can play. He's shown that he can play a number of positions. He's shown that when he's fit and he's ready, there's nothing he can't do.
Actually, I expect him to start because Gravenberch is no longer there. Maybe in a deeper role than he'll be playing for the Black Stars. But Ajax are a very attacking team, so there'll be chance for him to get into the box playing the final third. And this new coach might not even want to use the 4-2-3-1. He might go back to the 4-3-3. So maybe they'll play a 6 and then Berghaus and Kudus in front of that number 6. So there's a lot of options for him. Because Gravenberch is gone, I actually see Gravenberch as his biggest competition in the team in that sense. And Gravenberch is at Bayern Munich now. I've not heard of Ajax buying any, star names in the midfield to come and take that place. So I expect to see him starting most games. Right now, the chance is right there. There's a place right there. Starter has left. He has to grab it by his two hands. He has to take advantage of that chance, because if he can't make the team after Gravenberch leaves, it's very difficult for him to make the team, and he might have to move on. We heard OG Nice were interested. Nice are a very interesting project, but they've also lost their coach. Gautier has now gone to PSG. So I'm not sure about Nice's competitiveness next season, because they were 5th, 4th with their best coach, basically they're one of the best French coaches. So if the next coach comes in, it's not as good, you don't expect them to keep that same distance. You will see them drop. So it might not be the move for him. With Ajax, there's guaranteed Champions League football. Worst case scenario, if they finish second in the league, they still qualify for the Champions League through the qualifiers, or they go down to Europa League. I'm not sure about the places in the Dutch league, but they are definitely worst case scenario Europa League team, and that's the minimum level you should be playing at.
Stick with this particular game and the other Ghanaian player in that game, in Abdul Manaf Nurudeen. We saw him doing a Carring Cup for the Black Stars against Chile. He had a very good game, not just the penalty saves, but in terms of his distribution. He looked very bright in that game, then went on to the penalties, something that Ghana has struggled over the years, and made two very good saves, and Ghana ended up beating Chile. What, for you, do you think that number one spot in the Black Stars is closed, is cemented, or you think with some more improved performances, you think that some guys can still get
right now? I feel like the number one spot is Jojo Wallacott, from what we've seen with the qualifiers. Even when Richard Ofori came back, he wasn't able to get back in the team in these. Maybe in September we'll see that's when we'll know who is number one. But the way I see right now is Jojo Wallacott and Richard Ofori competing. But considering what Nurudeen did against Chile, he cemented the number 3 for me, because Atizigi always makes mistakes when he plays. He's not convinced for the Black Stars. He might be the better keeper at club level, but he's not convinced with the Black. And we see that national team coaches are more ones. They are not going to look at your form over 9 months. They are going to remember those 2 games you played 1 year ago where you were terrible, and not pick you, even if you're having some of the best seasons of your life. So these things really matter. So he's definitely on the plane to Qatar. And even now that the squad has been expanded to 26 players, they might have to say, okay, 4 goalkeepers in case of COVID, whatever. So anyway, they might take Atizigi anyway. So that's the 4 keepers. But for me, when I look at it, as the number 3, for the 3 keepers we have, he has to be one of the 3, because he has ended with that Chile performance. Because I can't think of an Atizigi performance I can say this guy really showed me he should be Black Stars keeper. We can talk about some Richard Ofori performance. We can talk about some performances for Wallacott where he's impressed. The 3 of them have a body of work. Atizigi doesn't. So it looks like when we are picking those 3 to go to Qatar, his name is very unlikely to be in the conversation unless there's an injury.
Do you agree?
Well, I think with the players we have at our disposal, I'm doubting any coach will take 4 goalkeepers to a World Cup. You'd want more
but maybe because of the expansion, maybe because of the 26.
One of the places has to be a keeper. It's very possible, but I'm just
But I think right now Wallacott seems to have cemented number 1. But then the number 2 and number 3, we've not seen Richard Ofori in a while because of injury, and with Nurudeen had a terrific performance in the Carring Cup. So then you think, okay, he maybe 2 or 3, he's around there. But then just like Richard Kingston kind of just jumped ahead, and then we went to the World Cup with him. It could happen. I think that the jury is still out there on Wallacott. There have been people calling for him to be changed. There are people calling for him to be dropped, or he shouldn't be the national team starter because of the league or the tier he plays in and all those kind of things. But then, as a coach, you should be happy to have these kind of headaches, knowing that should anything happen, should it be COVID or should it be injury, you have someone who inspires confidence in your defense, especially at a World Cup. So it's good news for Ghana either way.
And just to add to that, a goalkeeper, since Richard Kingston, we've not had a solid keeper we've changed, we brought this person. There's always there's been a lot of instability. You know, we've had this guy who was named Korase for a while. We had the Fatal down, there was another Brahma. You know, we've been changed, and you know, for a national team, you want a keeper who can be there for 5-6 years solid. He's there for. Look at someone like Casillas. Casillas played almost 200 games for Spain because he was just there. He was just constant, and we've not had that stability for a while. So I'm hoping we can figure out something with one of these keepers, get some stability, because they're chopping and changing. It doesn't also help the defense.
You need that consistency in the pool, especially when it comes to the goalkeeping department. But you're still watching Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. When we come back, we'll give you some more preseason action. Ten Hag bought is looking absolutely beautiful. Man United 2 consecutive games where they scored 4 goals. Jesus is also keeping on working miracles at Arsenal. We'll show you all the action there. Don't go away. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. I'm doing this with Emmanuel Nubo and Susu Graham. You can keep your messages coming in on the WhatsApp line on your screen 0550585832 or use the country code +233 if you are texting us from outside Ghana, or just use the hashtag Scorecard on Twitter and I'll read all your messages a little later on. Gone by, we're talking about some athletics and then we delve into some preseason action. We'll continue with that. Chelsea, they are in the United States of America. They went to face Club America in their first preseason encounter. Todd Bowley, during his time at Chelsea, he has been hopping from country to country looking for players. So far, he's been successful in 2. He's brought in Sterling and Koulibaly. They were not in action in that game against Club America. Chelsea won it by 2-1 thanks to a late winner from Super Mason Mount. What a goal from Mason Mount. Absolutely fantastic. Never in doubt. His quality has never been doubted, especially when it comes to the technique. Never in doubt. Top class player. Chelsea winning by 2-1. But elsewhere, Arsenal were in action against Everton. Gabriel Jesus is on fire. He scored twice on his debut, unofficial debut for Arsenal against Nurudeen. He scored twice. And then he scored again last night against Everton. Arsenal won by 2-0. Saka and Gabriel Jesus on target. Arsenal getting their second victory in preseason in as many games. Guys, impressive. Arsenal have been impressive in preseason.
I think Arsenal fans can confidently sing "Jesus take the wheel" now because that's what Gabriel Jesus is doing. He's actually showing that he was worth the money and he's the player they needed. And if you look at the nature of signings,
the way Susu is looking at you, okay, you finish.
If you look at the nature of signings Arsenal are bringing in, it looks like Arteta is trying to go for players who are comfortable on the ball, players who can resist the press, and it looks like he's trying to build something. For me, I feel like he's had too much time, and if this season goes south, he should be kicked out of Arsenal.
Susu,
just a little mischievous comment. When we started the show, I remember you saying preseason doesn't matter. What has changed? What has changed in the last 30 minutes?
But there are some good signs. You have to see.
But the more seriously, he's right. I mean, considering what Lacazette did last season, anybody who was a bit, active and alert would be an improvement. And we know that for Jesus, he's very active and alert. That's one of his most outstanding traits. His work rate is incredible. So, and he's showing his quality. I've mentioned my concerns about his finishing. Right now, I'm not seeing them, but we'll see how the season goes. But I'm very skeptical about his, how often he convert those chances. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. But
you're impressed with preseason, isn't it?
Me. Preseason for new players is you want to see how they are bedding into the team, that kind of thing. It really depends on their team and where they are at. So I was saying someone like the Liverpool Man U match, we're all laughing for and that kind of stuff. But Liverpool and Man U had different objectives in that game. Ten Hag is trying to create his first team. Klopp knows his first team. That's why he can bring out half the under 18s to play 30. He doesn't care because he knows who starts. He's just trying to see who can now come up into the team. So in Arsenal's case, the new signing like Jesus, he has to be there. He has to be running about. He has to show that he's ready to
important.
play. He has to he has to impress the manager,
He has to.
The other guys, they don't really have they can take it easy. So different objectives.
But look, and another guy who played his first preseason game for Arsenal was Thomas Partey. He was absolutely brilliant in this game. Just how important is he? And another thing I want to ask you, Nobo, we've heard rumors about Arsenal wanting Tielemans. We've seen what the absence of Partey can do to this team. Why have they not gotten that deal over the line all this time?
I'm actually surprised because if the rumors were to go by, it looked like it was set in stone even before the season ended. So I was expecting him to be one of the first signings. I don't know whether it's personal terms or maybe the player is expecting other interest from other clubs. But then if I was Arsenal, you'd want an improvement on Xhaka going into the season if you want to be gunning for top 4. Partey has had this injury issue, so you'd want cover in that position too, because Tielemans can play in the central midfield. But then I think for Arsenal, it looks as if they are building the team around Partey. He's the heart of the team. If he plays well, the team plays well. I would think the medical team should take special care of him. They would want to have him fit for majority of the games and especially the big games. For Ghana, it also works out for us.
We need him fit.
Yes, we would want our best player to be firing on all cylinders going into the World Cup.
You know, and speaking on that, if you remember the first half in the 2-1 defeat to Manchester City, the one that I think Gabriel got sent off, Partey in the first half was unplayable. And you could see what happened when he has a good game. And that's the nature of the position. When you are that deepest midfielder, your good game is the team's good game. But at the same time, if the team is playing badly and you are playing well, you can't, and because, you know, you're not making that impact in the final third. So it's a very tricky situation. You know, and your bad game is going to expose the team. But speaking on Telemans, he's probably going to replace Xhaka in the lineup, the way it's looking. I don't know if that's the right move for them. I feel Partey needs someone who can at least do a bit of defensive work. I don't see Telemans as that type of guy. I don't think Telemans is that committed defensively. If
I think it would be complete suicide if they play Telemans and Partey
exactly.
Honestly, to give Arteta the benefit of it, I don't think he'll do that. I honestly don't.
Who is he
Well,
going
it
to
depends
replace?
on the
Odegaard?
position you are playing against.
You see, look, let's
Because
establish.
he probably
this
doesn't
thing.
want to come and sit on the bench.
Yes, but Arsenal is a big team. There's a certain level of competition that you expect when if you are starting week in, week out at Leicester City, you do expect to come to Arsenal and start week in, week out. There's a certain level of competition.
No, but this Arsenal,
Tottenham
I would
Hotspur-
expect to.
No, but Tottenham Hotspur themselves have gone to buy Richarlison for 60 million when they have Kulusevski, Son, and Kane. Competition. But Arsenal are going to push for top 4 against the likes of Tottenham, Arsenal.
But can I make a small point? If you're a Leicester City player, and let's just use the last 3 seasons as a benchmark, you finish 5th, 8th. In that same 3 seasons, Arsenal have finished 8th, 5th. You are thinking to yourself, okay, we can say last season a lot of our defenders were injured and that kind of stuff. But I think the Leicester players at this point might not think of themselves as that low below Arsenal. Maybe in terms of the pedigree as Arsenal are playing in the Champions League, but they might think to themselves currently as we speak, there's not much difference between Arsenal and Leicester. So I don't see myself leaving Leicester to come and sit on the bench.
Maybe not all of them, but for Telemans,
I think maybe that's the thinking with some of them.
So
And also the fact that he's maybe thinking, maybe a Champions League club will come for me, that kind of thing. All those things matter. But for me, like you said, that whole Partey Telemans thing that people are suggesting, it sounds like a very bad idea to me. So I'm thinking maybe they are looking at a midfielder who can do a bit of both. You know, someone who has they can do a bit of defense, a more box-to-box type midfielder than Telemans, who is more of like he gives me a Lampard type vibe. You know, a central midfielder who comes to run, makes that third man run. He's at the edge of the box to shoot, that kind of thing. If you were to play, let's say, a Lampard type player in a Partey, you leave Partey very exposed. It's not that Partey is definitely the deepest midfielder, but you don't want too much space between him, which is why Xhaka is a good balance. Because Xhaka, you know, he doesn't like to get into the box. He always likes to stay at the edge, you know. So I'm wondering maybe they've decided his profile is not exactly what they want. But I think I would prefer if they did not buy Telemans, because I feel like you pay a lot for him, you pay a lot of wages for him to come and sit on the bench. I don't think he adds and they just bought this Fabio Vieira guy. I don't see the point of buying another central midfielder if you're not buying someone who has a bit more skill defensively. That's the way I see it. I don't see him as a necessity for them, though he's a good player.
Let's shift our attentions to something that is also cooking and is looking good. It's looking good. Arsenal have scored, I think, 8 goals in preseason. They scored 5 against Nuremberg. They scored 7 goals in preseason, 5 against Nuremberg, 2. Let's talk about a team that has scored 8, 4 in the first one, 4 in the second one, 4 against Liverpool, Man United, 4 against Melbourne Victory. In fact, it was very interesting. When the Melbourne Victory game started and United conceded, people were talking about back to reality. No, it's Ten Hag time. And he's cooking and he's cooking good. Watch the highlight. Hey, I'm introducing something. Watch the highlights between Manchester United and Melbourne Victory. Man United winning that game by a comfortable 4-1. Isn't it nice? What you watched, isn't it nice? Even Tahith Chong is cooking. Rashford is cooking. Eric Bailly, looking like prime Beckenbauer, is cooking. Manchester United is looking good. No, you can't tell me you have not seen some glaring changes, positive glaring changes in this team. 4 goals against Liverpool in the first game, 4 goals against Melbourne Victory in the second game.
I hate to admit it, but I've been impressed with how United are playing.
If you said otherwise, like, I'll cut you.
I've been impressed. I've been impressed with how, especially the setup, the energy they play with now. you can clearly see there's a pattern. I mean, the lateral defenders overlapping, and all those kind of things. But then you can clearly see that there's a change in attitude. They are more aggressive. They are more purposeful in pressing. They are not just all over the place. And I mean, that was Eric Bailly giving line-breaking passes. I'm actually
for the second game in a row.
But then again, I don't say it's just preseason. But I've been impressed. It looks like the coach has been able to instill his discipline. He's been able to instill his way of playing, and the players are grasping it. And I think on the whole, the players are out there to prove a point that they are not as bad as last season was.
Yeah.
And they're also out there to prove to the coach that I deserve to be in this team. So it's all good for Manchester United in pre-season. Let's wait to see what happens.
I'm going for it, but don't say anything. I don't like the way Susu is looking at us. But we'll take a quick break here. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. When we come back, we have action from Liverpool. They face Crystal Palace. Tottenham were also in action, and Lukaku was also in action for Inter Milan, but he didn't score. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. This is a final leg. My name is Daniel Cranting. I'm here with Susu Graham and Emmanuel Nubo. We have just a few minutes to wrap up the show. Let me read some of your messages and we'll conclude the conversations. This one is coming from Edmond inside Sotum. He says, I want to know the next player Manchester United is working on. What I know is that they announced Lisandro Martinez earlier today, so he is done. The player United is working on, it's still De Jong. They are still working on De Jong. Ten Hag is really working on the players. Any news from Ronaldo? That's from Moses from Tongo. For Cristiano Ronaldo, it looks like the teams that he wants don't necessarily want him. So we are just waiting. He will come. He will come back. He will get tired and he will report back to preseason. That's what will happen. This one from Twitter now. Apostrophe. He says Allyson Felix is one of the greatest women to have graced the tracks. He says she didn't let motherhood slow her down. A beautiful career she had indeed. Richie says, I feel Tuchel is going to sign Memphis on the low. He says, this one is from Obi-Wan Kenobi. He says, who needs Lukaku when you have Timo Werner? He says, EPL top 4 race is going to be sweet. It's very interesting, you see. Some people are talking about winning the title. Some people are talking about EPL top 4 race. Everybody and their priorities. But yes, let's move on to Liverpool. They were in action. They certainly will be going for the title next season. They finished just a point behind Manchester City last season. They were humbled in their first preseason outing by Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United. They went out, they faced Crystal Palace in their second game, and this time they did what Liverpool did. Thus, they won. Henderson and Mohamed Salah on target, Liverpool winning by 2-0. What you didn't see was Darwin Núñez was doing his things. Tottenham Hotspur, they were in action against Sevilla. That game ended 1-1. Harry Kane was on target. Tottenham Hotspur being held to a 1-1 draw against Sevilla. Let's show you a last match, Miss Wills, between Inter Milan and Monaco. Lukaku has left Chelsea, went back to Inter Milan. He's just talking about everything. He's just talking. He played this game 2-2, he ended. Lukaku didn't score. Inter Milan drawing 2-2 against Monaco. Guys, let's talk. No, but let me pick your thoughts on Liverpool quickly. 2-0 win. It looked far more impressive than what we saw against Man United. It looked like the team that we recognized was out there, and they got that win against Crystal Palace.
Liverpool is gradually warming up into the into preseason proper. Want to get their players warmed up and heated up for the league season. We all know they are going to be challenging for the league, so this is nothing new. It was just regular day at work. Nothing new.
New things are coming. Like what happened during the week, the 4-0. The 4-0, new things are coming. We didn't be talking about.
But I mean, it creates excitement for how the league season is going to go.
Yeah,
I think
of course.
It's been a 2-horse race for some time now, and you'd want to see more competition. You'd want the third, fourth, fifth, sixth teams
exactly.
to create
Talking
some
about the
form
more
of
competition, Susu.
Yes.
We saw Tottenham in action. They've done some good deals in the summer. They've brought in Bissouma. They've brought in Richarlison and the likes. They are looking good. Yeah,
league winner Conte is about to make it 2. I believe that this Spurs team is primed for a title challenge. I know it's early, but I was looking at the way they finished the season and how strong and how they powered through. And now they've added Richarlison to add some variety in their attack. Bissouma adds some skill in their defense. Langley improves their defense. So they've improved every department. So I'm looking at them now. They have a bit more options.
Yeah.
Son and Kulusevski and Kane. They now have a bit more support in Richarlison. The defense has a great left-footed passer to help with the build-up. And Bissouma adds another dimension to Højbjerg and who was that, like a Betancourt. So they are looking very promising.
Conte is doing Conte
and
things.
Perisic on our left wing back also adds some dimension. So watch
They're
out
looking
for them.
really, really good. But yes, that's it for Scorecard here on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. I did this with Susu Graham and Emmanuel Lubo. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you also for watching. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your messages. We'll be here same time next week. Keep watching Citi TV.